Hey everybody, it's Steph from the Hot Moving Podcast. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate y'all. So, to my surprise, well, actually, shout out to my homie, my boy Swanson texted me earlier. I was working and he was like, yo, Suns fired Frank Vogel. I almost wanted to shout, but not really, because it was like, this was the only predictable move. All right, this was the obvious thing to do. Okay, Frank Vogel was not the guy. I was never fond of the hire. Okay, honestly, I would have been okay if the assistant coach Kevin Young at the time gotten the job, but now he's went on to be the head coach at BYU this past month, so that sucks. So yeah, Frank Vogel is a one element to this being gone. Okay, he's a defensive-minded coach, and that's not what this team needs. Okay, he didn't have much to work with. I know that sounds crazy, but we didn't have really a complete roster. But, you know, we went after him. You know, he's living off of that championship from the Lakers. I'm not going to get into that because I feel like that was much to do about LeBron James, AD, Dwight Howard, guys that were defensive mind, with Alex Caruso. You know what I'm saying? Like, just that whole squad was just defensive minded. So it wasn't hard to implement your game plan, and also, it was the bubble. LeBron James saw it as an opportunity to capture his fourth, and he took advantage of that situation while other teams were complaining about being there and all this other stuff. So, for me, I really didn't look at, we got this championship coach coming in to take us to new heights. No. Frank Vogel, in my opinion, the last time I seen him being a good coach was when he was at Indiana. Okay, when he had Paul George and Roy Hibbert. That's about it. Okay. So as far as the next coaching candidate goes, I'm gonna say this. I wouldn't mind if Adrian Griffin got a shot at this, right? I think that, well, number one, they're gonna have to do a roster overhaul. Somebody is gonna have to go. Whether it's going to be Booker or KD. I love Booker. I think KD was great for us, but we need to get some draft picks back, and we need to build a roster. They need to figure out, are we going to build around KD at going on age 36, or are we going to build on Devin Booker at age 28, right? Who is more valuable to us? Obviously, I would love for us to build around Devin Booker and trade Kevin Durant. Listen, Kevin Durant, he didn't deserve to have this type of season. He was great for us, but we would have liked to have seen him have a prolonged run in the postseason. That won't be the case. So we need to figure out this roster, and the GM, James Jones, right? On the clock, right? You constructed this roster. You put this 2K fantasy lineup together just to, hey, we got the most talent. Let's just go ahead and roll these guys out, roll the ball out there, and we should be able to make a deep run for a championship. And that's not the NBA anymore. Super teams having multiple stars on your team, that's just not gonna be the case, right? When it's heavily loaded like that, there's a chance that the lack of cohesion isn't there. Injuries can plague. Look at the Clippers, right? You have a star-studded team, injuries eventually plagued them, right? So you need to build a full roster where you have rotational players that can come off the bench, contribute, can contend for being the sixth man, right? You look at these teams that are winning, they have a complete roster for the most part, right? And then they also have adequate bench play. We had none of that. Okay, so as much as I'm happy for Frank Vogel, being the first scapegoat or domino, but I don't really look at him as a scapegoat. It's just kind of like, you just weren't a fit, right? So, and I know the roster wasn't really, it wasn't, we had massive holes. We had a lot of problems with the roster, not having a point guard, not having a big for a decent post game. But there was a lot of defensive breakdowns in that Minnesota Timberwolves series. This is your roster. If you're considered a good coach, you find a way to make it work, right? That's a lot to ask of Frank Vogel because he's not that guy. To me, he was never that guy. So bringing a guy, Mike Budenholzer's out there as well too. Or a combination of bringing in Mike Budenholzer and having Adrian Griffin as an assistant. I'm okay with that type of combination. Budenholzer is pretty good offensively as well, and is really good defensively. And you bring in Adrian Griffin. I think that's something for them to consider looking at if Budenholzer wants his job, and if the Suns are okay. If the Suns come after him and Budenholzer is available for the job, I'm totally fine with that, man. So I'm happy that, we're finally moving in the right direction. Get rid of Vogel. I mean, man, the Suns have eaten up a lot of money in these coaching situations, but it is what it is. In the NBA, it's business. You got to find the right fit. Frank Vogel just wasn't that guy. Let me know what you think. I'm a Suns fan, so let me know what you Suns fans think out there with Frank Vogel being fired and who we should go after next. I told you who I want or who we should consider. I know JJ Redick's name has been out there. Does he want to coach LeBron James? Would he coach his team? I'm not really for this team. I don't know about JJ Redick, but someone like an Adrian Griffin and a Mike Budenholzer or a combination of them together would be perfect in my opinion for this team. So thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe. I'm out.